Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video in Tiara's Corner. Today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys about what project managers do. All of my work experience thus far has been at a marketing agency. So my project management experience will be different from someone who's worked in corporate or tech or another field. So all of this, anything you see on my page is based off of what I've learned through working at a marketing agency or what I've learned from freelancing and doing live events in my city. Regardless of what industry you work in as a project manager's basic job is to make sure that projects are completed on time and on or under budget. And even if you're thinking on time and on budget, that's easy. It's not easy at all. Well, for me, working at a marketing agency, it has never been easy. I've had the opportunity to work with some amazing brands, but I've always seen how vital and important a project manager is. Right now at my agency, I'm the head of project management. How? I don't know. I've only been working for 6 years, but in those 6-year time frame, I got enough experience and my team believes in me and they believe that I can take on that role. So as head of project management, I do a lot of the exact same things project managers do, just on a higher level. So I'm going to go through a couple of things that project managers do that you may not have known about or that you already figured out and you don't know why they do that. So project managers also do project scoping. At my agency, when a brand or potential partner is identified, we do project scoping to determine, well, once we know what the client wants, what will it take as far as like hours wise? And then for the deliverables that we're creating, how much are we charging per those deliverables? So my job is to pretty much make sure I know what we're about to sell, and I make sure I know how much we're selling it for. Inevitably, it is going to be the project manager's job and responsibility to make sure that budget is met and make sure timelines are ran. So project scoping is one of the initial steps that are super beneficial and important for project managers to really own. So another thing that project managers do, we create, manage, own, and track the plans of a project. As for example, if my agency comes and say we're going to be doing a commercial for a major brand, maybe we're going to be doing a commercial for Essential Water. So I know Essential Water. It's my job to make sure I know everything that goes into making a commercial for this brand. I don't have to know how to be a producer. I don't have to know necessarily the brand itself. I just need to know the steps that it takes to get to production day. And then I need to know the steps that it takes to get to post-production. And then I need to know the steps that it takes to get it into the client's hand. And generally at a marketing agency, once the deliverable is done, it's up to the client to deploy, like said, commercial. But it would be my job to make sure from concepting to scripting to production to post-production to reviewing and sending the client their final files, is my job to make sure all of that happens on time. Another thing that a lot of people don't think fall into the project manager role would be initiation. So it's my job to initiate projects. As soon as a project comes into my agency, it's my job to find the team that will be working on the project with me. Generally, that's an account manager. Most of the time, you have a creative lead, me being the project manager or someone else. And then you have your writer, your graphic designer, your producer, whatever piece, whatever deliverable that you're creating. So it's my job to pull all those resources together, but it's also my job to get those resources, talent, excited to work on this project. And typically when any project kicks off at an agency, you do an internal kickoff where the project manager leads a call going through the entire scope of work and what we know we're going to deliver, and a little bit of what we can expect from the partner if we've worked with them before. So in that first meeting, that's the first time this group is gathering together to talk about this exact project to make an essential commercial. So in that meeting, I not only have to go through the scope of work and let my team know what to expect and the deadlines that we've laid out in the plan, but it's also my job to get my team excited about creating this commercial. I have to get the designer excited about creating branding for the video. I have to get the producer excited that we're going to work with a major brand. I have to get the writer excited that their writing or their whatever is going to appear on TV. It's your project manager's job to not only talk about the project and make sure your team is informed, but also get them excited to be a benefit to the group for this client. I think this is the main reason that I'm a project manager, and that's because I'm super organized. Project managers have to be extremely organized. So when we're taking an example of like building a commercial for Essential Water, me as a project manager, once we kick off the project with the client, I have to get brand materials, I have to get contracts, I might have to get NDAs, I have to get scopes of work signed, and all of those needs to be organized. I can't have my assets that a designer or an editor will use in the video in the same folder as my scope of work and different things like that. So project managers have to be extremely organized with not only the tangible things that comes with the project, but organized to know the pretty much like the schedule and the tasks that have to get done next, just off the top of your head. So not only do project managers track the things that need to happen to complete a deliverable, but we also have to make sure we're tracking our project spending, our project hours, and our project deliverables. So tracking hours is mainly making sure that the talent that you are working with on this project is keeping up with how long it's taking them to create things. So if I'm creating this commercial for Essential Water and I see that my designer, I've only scoped my designer to work 10 hours to create the logo that'll go on the video, and say by week 2, my designer's already at 15 hours of creating this video, I know that either I've scoped so far underneath what I should have, or my designer is taking longer than they need to, or my client is not being as helpful as they could be by having many edits for the designer. Those are generally like the 3 main reasons that things can not be tracking hours wise. But as a project manager, regardless of the reason, it's my job to figure out what the reason is, but how to fix it so my designer who's already over scoped does not have to do anything else to whatever is happening. Different agencies do it different ways, but it's a project manager's job to know the money that's going out that is not tied to an hourly estimate from talent. So if I have to go to the store and get some AirPods to put this commercial together, I have to record how much these AirPods were and I have to track the receipt. I'm already tracking the hours it takes to create the video. That's one thing. Now I have to track anything outside of development that was purchased. So project managers have to keep up with everything. Project managers also have to guide internal talent. I have to make sure the writer knows what they're writing about. I have to make sure my creative lead is as informed as my account manager. I have to make sure that my designer knows the brand guidelines. It is a project manager's job to make sure that everybody on the team has what they need to do their job. One of probably the things I like least about being a project manager is that I have to mediate internal roadblocks. That roadblock can be absolutely anything. We could be talking about a writer who is tapped on bandwidth and we have this video to shoot at the end of the week and I don't have a writer that has time to make a script. Another example could be like, we don't have enough time. Say they want the video on Friday and it's Thursday and we're just now getting the scope. I have to figure out how are we going to make a video in a day. Never figured out how to make one in a day, but I've had to figure out how to make one in like a week, which is even the same difficulty. Another thing that project managers are tasked with on an agency level is to make sure that the processes that we have in place as an agency are actually benefiting the agency and its talent. So if I'm at an agency that has a new business process that works a certain way that is either not incorporating creative early enough or not incorporating a project manager early enough, I, as a project manager, have to say to my head of PM, which is now me, that this process is not working. It's beneficial for me to come up with a solution. And typically, a good project manager will come up with a solution when they bring a problem, like I do. But it's my job to notice when processes are just not working. So if we have a new business process where we're bringing in new business, but we're never incorporating a project manager to check out a scope or to just review a pitch deck to know what we are telling a client we can do, that's wrong. That needs a better process. So as a project manager, I would suggest that before we send out a pitch deck, or before we send out a proposal, or more so, before we send out a scope of work, let me as a project manager review that document. Let me say, if we're going to deliver a commercial and some social media cut downs for every social platform, I need to know how many commercials are we going to do? How many edits of this commercial does the client get? How many social cut downs does the client get? How many edits of those social cut downs does the client get? How many social media profiles are we posting on? Like, project managers have to be so specific just to create this one commercial that you're going to see at the end of the day. But it's all to make sure that things happen the way they're supposed to happen, and that everybody on the team and the client get the time and opportunity to have their input. Lastly, and if you are on the side where you are the brand or you are the company or the client, this is the main thing that you care about when it comes to your project manager. If I'm working with Essential Water to create this commercial, they do not care about the fact that my designer is already over hours. The main thing that a client cares about when it comes to a project manager is that their project meets its milestones. The client will be looking to me, and my account manager will be looking to me to make sure that we're hitting our milestones. Or in the marketing industry, you may know these as key performance indicators or KPIs. Say if my client is Essential Water, and as many times as I have said Essential Water, have I been saying it wrong? I don't know. But as many times as I've said this, I need y'all to pull up with a box. But their only goal would be to make sure that the video that I help get created gets X amount of views, X amount of shares, and X amount of purchases after this commercial comes out. And it's the project manager's job to make sure they reach those KPIs. I'm just here to help. I wanted to make this video kind of straightforward. As you all know, on Tiara's Corner, I'm going to be talking about project management in general, and then I have like a little beauty section where I do 5 to 10 minute beauty looks like this one. So if you guys have any questions about project management, if you have any questions about my work experience at a marketing and entertainment events agency, or if you just have anything in general that you want to ask me, leave it in the comments down below, and I will be sure to make the video or get back to you. And if you want to see any more in-depth videos about project management or what a project manager's role is in a specific project, really any questions in general about the industry, make sure you like this video and subscribe to make sure you see the next one that's coming out. I have a new video up every week. Typically, I like to go back and forth between the makeup videos and the project management videos. So you know which week to tune into, depending on what you want to see. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope this video was helpful for you, and I can't wait to see you in my corner again.